and welcome to Cuesta Sports Monthly, an in-depth look at Cuesta College athletics. I'm Peter Schuler, and on today's show, Cuesta Sports Monthly, we'll visit with men's and women's basketball, and then before we leave, we'll have a moment with returning author Del Franklin. So I'd like to welcome today's guests for the men's basketball, TJ Mavivi and Stevie Waiters. Stevie,
hey.
TJ, welcome to the game.
Thanks for having us.
You guys' season kind of just kind of on the cusp of the playoffs, but didn't make it this year. How do you guys feel about that first season here at Cuesta?
Yeah, there's a lot to be happy about and a lot that we could have done better. We started the season super rough, so honestly just finishing where we finished was a credit to the team and the coaches that we kind of pulled ourselves out of the mud, so it's a lot to be happy about.
Yeah, you guys battled through a very tough Western State Conference and kind of made your mark. Almost kind of come back there. We're in the conversation, but not into that final bid. Stevie, you were here last year as a redshirt. What was kind of the difference for you this year, besides just being on the floor? But what was the things you saw that helped you become a better player this year?
Well, last year I definitely got to see how big of a step it was from high school. So that definitely prepared me a lot for this year. I came into this season not knowing if I would start or not, but I worked hard and I ended up getting that starting spot, and I produced pretty well, I think.
Yeah, I think you really did. You really just get your playing time increased.
Yeah.
I was a college basketball player, and kind of by the end of the season, the guy you reminded me of was kind of the Steve Nash type player. A lot of speed, you got a lot of movement out there. Is that kind of your game right there?
Oh, I definitely watched some Steve Nash when he was playing. He was a cool player.
All right. Now, TJ, you were kind of like the team's Swiss Army knife this year. You got some assists, got some rebounds. You're a good defender. You can shoot inside, and a lot of 3-pointers. What was kind of? Did you feel that you had that role? Did you kind of just grow into it?
Yeah, I mean, being a Swiss Army knife kind of is. I think it's just a mindset that anyone could have. The more you try to do on the team, like anyone could rebound, anyone could play defense. So it's kind of just a mindset that anyone could have of just trying to do whatever you can to help your team. We're lucky to have good coaches that will really try to push you to do stuff that you never thought you could do. Like I never thought I could get assists or be a good passer, but they kind of helped me do that. So they helped us become really balanced players.
Now we'll jump ahead. I was going to ask you a little bit about the Ralph Rusty combination. They're their second kind of time they've been back together. They've had a lot of great success in the past. Individually and together. Ralph won a conference championship in Hancock. They both won a couple championships and took the team to the state finals when they were together. But boy, are they different. What are some of the things that you got from Rusty, and what are some of the things you got from Ralph? What kind of helped you guys grow this season?
They're perfect opposites. Like they're a great definition of yin and yang. Coach Gordon, he's a great motivator. I think his main strength is motivating. He's really going to try to light a fire under you, and he'll get you to run through a wall. And Coach Rusty, he's a little more strategy. He's not going to tell you to run through the wall. He's going to show you the door,
Those guys in their past were pretty great players. Do you ever get to see Rusty or Ralph get on the floor with you guys a little bit?
No, unfortunately we don't. Every now and then they'll come and mess around, but yeah.
Watch out for Rusty. He's got sharp elbows. So, this season, like we said, we kind of just got short. You guys are coming back hopefully next year. You guys will be the core of this team if you came back. What you're looking at next year and then maybe beyond? Are you guys looking to go with a 4-year school?
I'm definitely hoping to, eventually transfer and have a good year next year, and I'm open to, whatever the opportunity brings. I'm right here for it.
Now, coming from a Tascadero, which has had some great players come out of there, our all-time leading scorer was Mecklin Davis, Tascadero kid. Second leading scorer was your teammate this year, Drew Ardoin, Tascadero kid. Matt Knutson. There's been some great players out of Tascadero that come on. What is it about that Greyhound program that keeps on feeding Cuesta these great players?
I'm not sure. It might just be that small town, kind of fire I guess we got. Maybe something with the high school there, the coaching, how it is there. There's been a lot of good coaches. My coach is really good, and I think that's what it is, just that the coaching in the small town energy we got, wanting to win and wanting to be great, I guess. I don't know.
Coming across the 41 there, do you kind of have a chip on your shoulder coming in here and seeing all these players from all these different places and kind of on a...
Yeah, definitely.
Speaking of small towns, Orangevale.
Yeah.
You know, how was basketball up there, and what kind of brought you down here from?
Yeah, it's okay. Orangevale itself, there's not really a big basketball scene, but Sacramento as a whole has some really amazing players. Yeah, I'm lucky enough to play against some of the top players in the state. But yeah, my decision to come down here, it's kind of also like a basketball hotspot like Sacramento is. Like seeing at Atascadero, like all the great players come from there, and like now in San Luis Obispo, there's not really much else except for basketball. So it's kind of like a good way to invest in the program, just seeing that basketball really is the main thing.
Now, do you guys have plans? Stevie, you said you would like to play at the next level. How about you, TJ?
Yeah, anything that could get me to a four-year school, I'd love. Anything to continue my education. If I need to do basketball, I'll join the chess team to get into a four-year school. I don't care.
The team, one of the things about Cuesta College, and you've seen it in your classes, is as you have so many of your classmates I think 60% of the student population is from outside of San Luis Obispo County. Has that helped you kind of assimilate a little bit better, rather than coming to some place it's just, everybody from Atascadero or San Luis or Morro Bay? Has that kind of given you that? I always thought it kind of gave you the big college feel in a smaller college because of the diversity in a community college. Does you kind of feel that and kind of feel that preps you a little bit more going on to the next level?
Yeah, definitely. If everyone's from a different part, you got to make friends, and it's a lot easier to make friends when, a lot of people are coming together from out of the area. So, yeah.
Okay. But is that one of the things that kind of brought you here, and kind of like the idea that so many people are from?
Yeah, definitely. I'm lucky enough, I actually came from a four-year school, so I kind of got that little taste of having the big giant school and the big giant feel. And it's really a different feeling coming to a small school like this, that you really feel like you know your teachers and you know your classmates and you know your coaches, instead of just feeling like you're just a kid in the crowd that no one sees.
All right. Well, I really do look forward to seeing you two on the floor next year. And, you guys had a great season just getting out here this first year. Fell short of the playoffs, but you guys definitely made your mark. So thank you very much for joining me, TJ Mavidi and Stevie Waiters. I'd like to thank those two for joining us, and when we come back, it'll be women's basketball with Reese Pasternak and Bella Musoff when Cuesta Sports Monthly returns.
This program is produced by Cuesta Broadcasting. Start your radio, TV, and film career at Cuesta College.
We're back on campus with women's basketball. I'm joined by Bella Musoff and Reese Pasternak, two starters from the Cuesta College women's basketball team. Welcome, Reese. Welcome, Bella. Season just ended. First time since 2015 the Cougars have made the playoffs. How are you guys feeling about the season now that it's over? I know it's a tough loss in Long Beach against a good team, but how are you guys feeling so far after the season?
Honestly, just excited for next season, and obviously going to playoffs is a huge step for our program. It's the first time in a decade, so that's how I'm feeling about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just excited for next year and hoping we get better from next year and just keep on growing and see what happens.
Now, you guys started the season just gangbusters. Your first game of the season, you guys set a school record for points in a game. Reese, you had the program's first ever triple-double. Kind of coming in here, did you feel like at the beginning of the season you guys started off 11-3, and then we hit the Western State Conference, which had 6 teams out of 7 ranked at some point during the season. How do you guys feel about the beginning of the season, and how you guys transitioned into the conference section?
Obviously, the beginning of the season was insane. I mean, we did better than I think anyone was expecting us to.
Yes.
And then going into regular season, we definitely had a lot of setbacks that were unfortunate and unlucky, but I mean, we did the best we could, and we play a very hard conference, and I think everyone knows that.
Yeah, exactly. You guys were 5th place and out of 7 teams, and 5 teams made playoffs, and 1 was on the cusp. So that was probably the toughest conference in the state right now. Bella, how did you feel coming in? I know you're a little bit of a legacy. We'll get into that, but how did you feel coming in straight from Morro Bay down the road?
I mean, I don't know. It was cool. It's just like it's nice representing like locally and just like having a coach who at Morro Bay who also played for Rusty and is friends with Casey. It's just kind of like small town kind of feel.
So you were
to
kind
it.
of pre-recruited. You had no choice, kind of coming a
I
Cougar.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it was definitely. I definitely knew Casey. He coached me when I was younger too, actually. Optimum, I don't know, but yeah. So it's kind of cool.
We talked with TJ and Stevie, and they talked about the differences between, Rusty and Ralph. They're 2 coaches. And how about with you guys, with Casey? When you watch the guys' game and you watch Casey coach, how do you guys feel about Casey? I mean, he's not a yeller, that's for sure, but he does on occasion. How do you guys feel about Coach Casey out there?
I don't know. I feel like they definitely are. They're definitely different people. But I mean, I see some similarities too. I don't know, but yeah, I really like Casey and the way he coached. So.
Yeah, I mean, when Coach Casey does yell, that's how you know he's serious. It's kind of funny. It definitely wakes us up sometimes, and I think it's pretty good because he's a mellow guy, for sure.
All right, you guys have. I mean, Bella, you kind of came off the bench at the start of the season, got a lot of starts eventually. What do you kind of plan your role? What are you looking forward to improve on, like for next year, and what do you expect for next year?
Next year, I mean, this summer I'm just working on like kind of my offense more, just I don't know, my shooting a little bit, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just looking forward to next year and seeing how everything comes together. So.
Now, Reese, how about you? Yeah, you kind of had a banged up a couple times there. How are you feeling about the season? What are you kind of looking for next year?
For next year, I just am looking to build. Honestly, I just want us to get deeper in the playoffs, and because, I mean, Cuesta, especially our program, I feel like gets doubted a lot, especially in our league. So I feel like it's a lot of proving other teams wrong, and I think that could be very exciting with the talent we have. Yeah,
it's definitely been on the upswing the last couple of years, and you guys have made a huge jump this season. Well, I know you had your grandfather, your aunt and uncle all played here, but what were kind of for Reese? What was the main reason you kind of came to Cuesta? Honestly, location at first, to be honest. Then I came here and visited, and Coach Lay pretty much sold it to me, so shout out to her for selling the program. I was very late. I didn't even commit to come here until July. So. Okay, yeah. You get all your classes and everything? Yeah. All right. How about you, Bella?
I mean, it was kind of more like, I don't want to say expected, but like, I don't know, my grandpa did coach here and my family's from here, so I don't know. I also really like the school and the campus and just, I have friends here and made friends with the basketball team, so I think it's a really cool environment to be into.
Now, growing up, the family you did was basketball something you were kind of bred into, you had to do?
I mean, honestly, not really. My parents have always just supported me, and like it was always like, if you want to do something, if you want to keep going, then we're all for it. But it's really up to you. So. Yeah.
Maurice, what got you into basketball?
Honestly, randomly in like 6th grade, I just started playing. I did tons of sports growing up, and then my parents never really. They just let me play whatever and do whatever.
Now, what was probably the best thing about this season? What are you taking back and want to put back into this next year coming up? Or what do you think would make you guys go a little bit further?
Just
besides a 7-footer.
Definitely taller. That's, I guess, that good pointing out height. We don't have a ton of height on our team. Unfortunately, our center got hurt our first tournament we played in this year, so I think that would help our team out tremendously. It's just having a dominant 6-foot girl or like 6'2" girl would be
you could
tremendous.
see that because that allowed watching those later games, especially in conference against those higher ranked teams. They weren't afraid to press out further because there wasn't the depth or size that they had inside. Okay. How about you, Bella?
Yeah, like Reese said, I think we definitely need some size on our team next year. But also just like I feel like we need to be more confident as a team and when we're playing together. And I think once we do that, we'll really excel more.
Yeah, you kind of expect now as you guys came through this first year, kind of taking more of a leadership role here, or do you feel? I mean, there's a lot of sophomores on this team that now are going to be gone. Are you guys ready to step up and kind of take that leadership role, or can you give it to the point guard?
I think it's super exciting to lead teams. Obviously, we have a ton of freshmen this year, so who knows who's going to be captain or whatnot next year. But I think it can be very exciting. I'm assuming, were you captain in high school, Bella?
Yeah.
So we were both captains in high school, so it's definitely a role that I think both we could fit into.
Is that something a little bit difficult coming in with a lot of sophomores on the team?
Well, just up to the coaches, really, who they want to.
Okay, so they kind of. Well, tell me so far, that first year at Cuesta, how are you feeling coming over here, and how's Cuesta College as an institution doing for you?
Like the school, I actually really enjoy the school here. I like how it's very easy to get around. It's not too big. I don't want to walk too far. And it's just very accessible, and the teachers are super nice. Because I even take some classes online, so I have both kind of perspectives, and I've enjoyed it so far.
Yeah, same with me. I feel like I really like all of the teachers I've had so far, and I feel like it's a really good community and like vibe on this campus, I guess. Yeah.
Thank you, Bella. So, thank you, Reese. You guys really looking forward to you guys playing again next year, and I think going all the way with playoffs at at least a little bit further. Thanks again to Bella Musoff and Reese Pasternak, and we hope to see them both back in the hardwood for another year and another playoff run next winter. When we come back to Cuesta Sports Monthly, we are joined by author, athlete, and cultural maven, Del Franklin.
Cuesta.edu. Television, radio, broadcast, communications. Explore the world of digital communication and tap into your creative genius. Television, radio, broadcast, communications.
This is your boy, the DUI, and you're listening to KGUR.org.
Your digital future is at Cuesta College right now. Log on to Cuesta.edu now for enrollment dates and class information.
Hey, don't put the boom in the shot. Blowing it, bro.
Cuesta.edu.
Welcome back to Cuesta Sports Monthly. We are joined again by author, athlete, and cultural maven, Del Franklin. Del, welcome back to Cuesta Sports Monthly.
Good to be back.
Last year we had you on to talk about your baseball book, The Ball Player's Son. Just want to kind of get an update about how that's going.
It came out in September, and it did really well locally at some of the bookstores. Got some really good reviews. Got a really excellent review from a guy that covers the New York Yankees back on the East Coast, and a local review in Morro Bay on the Estero Bay News. And it's done all right, and I think it might be doing okay down in the Miami area because my father was a Jewish ball player, and it's about my dad and myself. And my dad being an ex-big league ball player, played 17 years of pro ball, and was a star in the Pacific Coast League before the expansion.
Right. So the Pacific Coast League was basically the major league, but it didn't get the publicity.
It's called the third major league. It's called. There was nothing on the other side of the Mississippi River.
Right.
So, and it was all Portland, Seattle, San Diego, Sacramento, San Francisco,
Angels, the San Diego Padres.
Yeah, and my dad played for the Hollywood Stars, the LA Angels, and the San Diego Padres. And I was his son, and I was indoctrinated to the game in the clubhouse and on the ball field as a 7-year-old kid. And I became what you call a fanatic. You know, baseball was my entire life at the expense of everything.
Now that kind of brings us into transition. Your baseball career ended. You went into the Army.
Yeah, well, shortly, I didn't fit in college. I was kind of a wild kid and uncoachable, and so I made a transition, and I discovered that instead of just being a full-time athlete and the jock, I had been encouraged by various teachers that you can actually write, you know, and you have a brain. And you don't have to just be a dumb anti-intellectual jock, you know, and you know, a guy whose entire life emanates from the clubhouse and the dugout, right? And so, yeah, I started writing.
So on your trips, you went on cross country, and you took yourself on a trip, and that kind of led to the other book, Life on the Mississippi, 1969. A little play off Mark Twain, Life on the Mississippi, but kind of the same thing with the riverboat.
Well, on this book here, a local teacher and writer at Cal Poly compared this thing to Roughing It by Mark Twain, which is the ultimate compliment. And what it was is I hitchhiked across America from LA to Mardi Gras in New Orleans, and it was after a week of partying, I was flat broke and managed to get on the Delta Queen, the last riverboat to go up and down the Mississippi River steamship, and they put me in charge of the ship's entire inventory. There's just this white guy coming off out of nowhere, and I became ship storekeeper.
So even when you were reading that book, which is a great read, but there's a lot of your athleticism comes through. You talk about your baseball stories come through. You're running around. You're doing those kind of things. So even though you kind of gave up the sport and kind of went on your way, it still kind of permeated you. What came from your dad has always been part of you. Kind of.
It just won't go away, and it will never go away. I still watch baseball, and I have a lot of opinions about the game today, the way it's played, but I still love it, and I still love to watch the guys play, especially the big leaguers. They're great, you know. And I have coached kids too. You know, I have tutored kids, and you know, I learned everything from my father, and I learned the basics from his teammates as a 7-year-old. So I was playing way ahead of my time in Little League and American Legion at 14 because I was so fundamentally sound and so brought up in the game that my instincts were different. You know.
Was it? I guess that kind of made me trigger thinking about some of these kids like a Tiger Woods who grew up on the game and had to do that. And some of these, especially you see it sometimes in tennis because maybe it's a more individual sport. But did that kind of cause you to kind of pull away a little bit?
Yeah, you got all these athletes here at the school. You know, a lot of their fathers were probably athletes and coaches. So it's difficult being an athlete or a really great athlete or a coach's son. My dad was a celebrity, you know, and he played in the big leagues. So that's a whole different level. And so there's a pressure on you where you feel, I've got to be like my dad. I've got to fulfill what he does. I've got to be better. And eventually it wears on you. You know, it's not for everybody. And a lot of it is according to how your dad handles you. You know, there's very few ball players' sons that go on professionally to be successful. And in a lot of cases, the dad's not around anymore, and the mother raises the kid.
Well, you know, 162 games a year, that's a lot of travel.
Yeah.
So that kind of the Life on the Mississippi, you have so many things, but that was basically a big icebreaker for you having that experience.
It was great.
Because let's be honest, a lot of adult American male, we speak in sports.
Well, I wanted to hitchhike all over the country and see everybody and meet everybody and explore the country. You know, it was in 1969. The country was like really, you know, it was a really rough time. I don't think, you know, compared to today, who knows? But you know, with all the things that were going on with assassinations and the racial stuff going on, and there was, you know, it was fascinating.
Now, as a Compton native,
Yeah.
and LA Rays, how did you end up coming up here to the Central Coast, and what was that transition like for you?
Oh, it was great. See, I grew up.
Get out of the city.
I grew up in it. Well, I was living in Manhattan Beach. I was a bartender, and I was a writer, and I had published some stuff down there in the local alternative papers. But I realized I had to get out of here and just come up here and just write. And I have had my own literary journal, wrote for New Times, I write for various, you know.
Right. So you had the New Times, you had the Rogue Voice for which was a great little local paper
for 3.5 years. Yeah.
The Journal and social commentary.
Mm-hmm.
But not a lot about sports. Was this coming back to the book? Back to that was kind of like a re-engagement with the athletics.
This is a book I worked on. Both these books I started working on 40, 50 years ago, and I didn't know what I was doing. And I finally completed them in the way they should be about 4 or 5 years ago. You know, and you know, got them. I think they're just right. You know, but I didn't know how to go about writing a book, you know, back then. You know.
And you have another one in the chute.
I have a book about a women's softball team. It's called Kelso Swing, and the main character is Rick Kelso, a former baseball player, and he takes on the worst women's softball team in the league down in L.A. and turns them around by teaching them his swing.
So you're back into the sport.
Back into the sport.
Back into the sport.
And and these girls, you know, it's right into the essence of baseball.
Well, hopefully everybody will be looking forward to that one coming out.
Yeah.
Del Franklin, I'd like to thank you very much for joining us here on Cuesta
pleasure.
Sports Monthly. That concludes
My
today's
pleasure.
edition of Cuesta Sports Monthly. I'd like to thank today's guests, Del Franklin, as well as our Cagers, TJ Bavidi, Stevie Waiters, Bella Musoff, and Reese Pasternak. Remember to stay up to date with your Cuesta Cougars at the Cuesta Athletic website at cuestaathletics.com. The show is produced at Cuesta College by the Cuesta Film, Television, and Electronic Media Department as part of the Cuesta TV project. I'm Peter Schuler, and for all of us here at Cuesta College, thanks for watching, and thanks for being your support of Cuesta Athletics.